As it stands right now, quite the night for Mike Johnston and Kelly Brough, both with roughly 10-point leads over the other competitors in the mayoral election. The two of them are poised to head to the runoff in June. Our Marshall Zellinger is out at the Mike Johnston party with, hey, look, it's Mike Johnston.
Who knew? I'd find Mike Johnston at his own watch party, still in first after a very tepid second update of the numbers, only 2,500 extra votes. Do you have any doubt, based on your speech, that you're going to be part of a runoff?
We're confident we're going to be in the runoff. High school math comes back into play here on the percentage of votes that are left and where we are, and so we're confident we'll be in the runoff and very excited to start that conversation with voters around the city, but of course we'll keep watching the results of the rest of the night.
Now, our viewers didn't hear your speech, but at the beginning of your speech, you name-dropped other candidates. You talked about homelessness plans from Leslie Herod and Debbie Ortega, green initiatives from Chris Hansen, your connection with Terrence Roberts and social justice issues, and Ian Tafoya on environmental issues. You need their voters to win a runoff. Was that trying to get their supporters to come to your side?
No, for me it's about, I put my life and soul into this for 4 months, and as has my entire staff. They have done the same thing, and these are smart, capable people who have built their own big vision for what the city of Denver can be, and no one of us has it perfect. All of us have captured different parts of what I think this city can be, and they've brought really great ideas and I think real vision and passion to the table, and I want this Denver to be big enough for all of our ideas, and so my hope is to say we don't lose those ideas because some of the candidates aren't in this race. We actually try to carry those ideas forward and build a better Denver with them.
There was a somber moment when you mentioned East High School and the shootings there. Has your position changed? You wanted school resource officers if the school board wanted it. Has your position changed at all in the last week or two on how you would address school safety at Denver Public Schools, which you have no power over?
Yeah. No, my position was always that I thought that school principals and school communities ought to be able to decide that if a school principal wants a school resource officer, they ought to be able to do that. We know after East High School, though, that community of parents and kids and teachers and school leaders have been saying, we want that as part of our safety plan, and I think that they should be allowed to do that if they want to. So I was glad that the school board changed course and allowed those schools to have them back. We know there's a lot more work to do that includes things like gun safety policy, includes more support for mental health, it includes wraparound services for kids and families. That's not the only solution, but for communities who are saying we want this to feel safe sending our kids back to school tomorrow, I think they deserve to have that right.
What if those school resource officers aren't there next year?
Well, I think that's something that we ought to talk about. I think if the families continue to believe they need it, then as mayor, I would continue to figure out a way to make that work.
One last question, money. If it is you and it is Kelly Brough, there's outside money that is poured in, and you've had national outside money. Why should a voter appreciate people who don't live in Colorado pouring $1 million plus, $2 million into your campaign, or into a third party that then supports your campaign?
Yeah. I've had the chance to build coalitions on really big ideas over the last 20 years. I've built things like when we passed universal preschool, or when we took on the NRA and beat them on gun safety, or when we passed the Dreamers to get access to college. Those are all big ideas that hadn't been done in other states before, and people are looking for where are there leaders that can take on the country's hardest problems and make progress on them. I've done that over and over and over again, and I built coalitions with people locally and nationally who want to see that done. We have real things we want to deliver for Denver. I believe we can make Denver the first big city to end chronic unsheltered homelessness. There are a lot of cities struggling with that. They'd love to see a city prove that they can do it. For me, I'm honored by the fact that people believe Denver can be that city and that I can be that leader.
Mike Johnston in first place after the 8:30 numbers. There'll be more numbers tonight, more numbers tomorrow. Thanks for taking the time as your number one.
Great to see you.
Currently, it's Mike Johnston and Kelly Brough in a runoff, but we'll update those numbers. As we get them, 10 o'clock, there'll be a change. We'll see if it's more than 2,500 difference, as we saw at 8:30, Kyle.
Yeah, no doubt. Very exciting night for Mike Johnston, his supporters here in Denver, and some very, very rich dudes in Silicon Valley who love them some Mike Johnston. All right, Marshall Zellinger, thank you very much.